Hello, Eurovision fans. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. It's time for another prediction. We have all the songs in semi-final 2. We have all the songs in Eurovision 2023, actually. But today I am predicting who will qualify to the final in Liverpool from semi-final 2. And like in my semi-1 prediction, the closer a flag of a country is revealed towards the top, the more likely I think this country is to qualify. And the closer it is to the bottom, I think it is more likely to not qualify. The dotted line you see is the line of qualification, as I call it. So if you're above it, you qualify. If you're below it, you will not. I will be updating these predictions from time to time, so make sure to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss that. I'm also doing an overall Eurovision prediction on who the 10 most likely winners of this year are, so watch out for that. It's coming in the next few days. So let's start with the country that I think is the surest qualifier in this rather less competitive semi-final. I think it has improved a bit with the last couple of songs that were revealed, but it is less competitive than semi-final 1, definitely. So the country with the highest chance, according to me, is Austria, because it's the catchiest song of this year. I think it's a bit of a fun entry. Some people might think it's a joke entry, but it actually has a message. It's well performed. They know how to sing. I think they know how to perform. What they need is a really good staging, and I'm a bit scared, to be honest, that Austria, with their track record of not having the greatest stagings, might come with something that is not that effective. But I really, really hope they do, because if they do, I think they have all the chances of being really, really successful this year. So I am quite sure they will qualify, even if the staging is subpar. Now, a country that is quite surely a non-qualifier to me, and that is San Marino. I think the entry is a bit underrated, actually, because people look at this performance from San Marino, which didn't have a big budget and the sound wasn't that great. He has an interesting voice. The song is kind of catchy. The lyrics are a bit cringy. They have an interesting style. The problem is that in their half of the semifinal, there are actually two bands that do what they are trying to do a bit better, I think. So they will struggle, and San Marino in general is fighting an uphill battle a bit. They don't have a great record of qualification. Only twice they've made it to the final, and I don't think this year will be their third time. Yeah, another non-qualifier, I think, is Poland. The worst vocal performance I have seen in a long, long time. Of course, they can improve that. They can improve the staging. I think putting your name on the stage is just not a great idea. The dance routine is very tried and old-fashioned. I mean, not old-fashioned, but it looks like something we've seen 100 times before. Polish people are not happy with this entry, so I don't think it will get a lot of diaspora support either. So, yeah, very problematic. They can work with it. It's kind of catchy. They could come up with a great staging and have a backing vocalist sing a lot of the song, maybe. And then it might work better, but I still think that it won't qualify. Now, another sure qualifier, according to me, this might be a bit controversial. The second surest I am is Lithuania. I think it's really well performed. It's a good, clean pop ballad. She has a lot of emotion. The staging is beautiful. Her outfit is beautiful. She can sing. And why I think it has a very good chance of qualifying is that it is kind of alone in that second half. There are 3 rock bands. There's Albania, there's Georgia. There's a lot of oomph and boom. I think Austria is in the second half. Lots of things happening and lots of up-tempo and intense songs. So this will be kind of a breather for people. And I think it will make it to the final. And in the final, I think it's a possible jury winner, actually, because it's so well staged, it's well performed. It's kind of a bit like John Lundvik in the female version. So can definitely do really, really well. And I really think it will qualify. Next, we have Georgia. I am not a great fan of this entry. I think it's really epic. I think they wrote it with a staging in mind already. The music video had a few good pointers at what they might be doing. I hate the lyrics, but I think this is a televoting semifinal. People will not care that much about the lyrics as I do and as some of my subscribers do, which I find really cool. She's a good singer. She's an experienced performer. She has won Junior Eurovision with a band. So I think this is pretty much a done deal. I think this will qualify and it might be in the top 10 in the final even. Next up, Slovenia. I'm so happy. By the way, semifinal 2 might be weaker, but there are so many countries in this semifinal that have a chance to make it to the final that usually have a bit of trouble. And that part I really like. So one of them is Slovenia. It's a good, catchy song. I needed a few listens to get into it, and I think people might need a few listens. However, the live performance is really effective. They're great performers, know how to work the camera. There's lots of charisma. You see that they're having fun doing what they're doing, and that's all you need. I think this is the most effective band rock song in this semifinal. And it has the distinction of being one of the only songs in this semifinal that is in the national language, which I like a lot. So I think they will make it. Next up, Cyprus. This is a bit depending whether he can actually sing this song. I saw, I think, a TikTok or like a short video of him doing the head voice part, and he actually did it really well. I was quite surprised because in the Australia Decides that he competed in, his voice wasn't good. He wasn't great at performing either. So I kind of thought it might be in trouble. But if he sings like he did in that video, great. I think he might not be able to move too much to be able to hit these notes. But obviously, great charisma. There's an audience for this, definitely. And it's an interesting song. I hate the Break Your Broken Heart with a passion. But again, I think people don't care that much about that. And yeah, it's a good pop song. So I think Cyprus will be able to make it. Next up, Denmark. This might also be a bit controversial. I think a lot of people have this as a non-qualifier. I do not. Not just because he has 10 million TikTok followers, because I think most of them are in Asia or in other parts of the world and will not vote, at least not in the semifinal. I do think he has a few followers that will vote, so that might be enough to get through. Iceland is in the semifinal. And I just think it's a very catchy song. There's everything in my body tells me you really shouldn't like this. It's like so TikTok-y, so appealing to a much younger audience than I am. But this song is just really catchy and people will remember it. The vocoder, you can love it or hate it. I think some people will love hearing that and pick up the phone and vote for it. So that's why I think Denmark will be able to make it. Next, we have Armenia. Now, people were expecting a lot from this entry. I kind of don't understand why, because if you listen to her other songs, what she has sent is very much in her lane. I think it's beautiful. I think it's more of a jury song though, so that's why I have it a bit lower. I think in the final it may do quite well. I think I predicted top 20, so that's not that well, but she's a good performer, a good singer. She has the Armenian lyrics, which might get some Armenian diaspora in the other voting countries to vote for it even more. She's a star in Armenia, so I do think that it will be enough to qualify. Quite definitely, actually. I'm quite sure about that. Now, Estonia, you can see is a bit lower than Armenia and even lower than Denmark. I think the first time I heard it, and my rating video is really, really positive, I think it's a beautiful ballad. She sings it well. The message is great. The thing is, the style of her singing is a bit annoying after a while. Sorry. Well, not annoying. It's not unpleasant, but it's kind of different and a bit weird, at least for me personally. So I think it might have a bit of trouble. It will be helped by the fact that there are not that many ballads in this semifinal. And it's the most standard piano ballad we have this year. So I do think it will make it to the final. Next up, Iceland. I really like her performance. She's quirky, dancing around. The energy comes across. The lyrics and the message of the song are beautiful. I think they can improve the staging even more. Her look is very 90s. I have it right on the qualification line because this, I think, might be a bit of a borderliner, more than Denmark, because it's just a bit too standard maybe. So it might not get people to pick up the phone. If this was a jury, 50% jury, 50% televote, I would say it makes it because of the juries. Here with the televote, I'm not 100% sure, but I really hope it does because I like the song. Next, Greece. He really has to improve his diction. You cannot understand what he is singing for most of the song, but once I understood what he was singing about, this song grew on me very, very much. It's very a product of its time, I think. He sings about mental health issues. The whole style of the song is very current. That's what you hear on the radio. That's also its disadvantage. I think it sounds a bit too radio friendly maybe and not distinct enough. So that's why I have it on the line of qualification. But Greece has basically 12 points from Cyprus already. Then there's Albania that can help. So I really think this will make it to the final. Now, a country that will not make it to the final, I think, is Romania. Because the staging, the song, it's all too messy, too crazy, too much is happening. Of course, they can improve all of that. But even if they do, I think the song is not impactful enough. It's not effective in grabbing your attention. I really like his voice. I do like the style of song in general, usually. But this one just feels a bit off. And it's last in the betting odds, so people are really not responding to it, unfortunately. I hope he doesn't do the make love, not war thing, because it feels really gimmicky. But even if he improves the staging a lot, I think it's dead on arrival, basically, unfortunately. Then we have Albania. Now, some of you will understand what I'm talking about. Some of you will hate me for this. But a reason why I kind of thought it might qualify is because it's the only really ethnic sounding entry, almost the only one in a national language in this whole semi-final. But the song is a bit messy. I don't like the message that much about the kids and staying together for the kids and for society. Don't know. If she brings her family, it's just very distracting. I think if it was her alone on that stage, singing and emoting, I would say, yeah, maybe it could qualify. But the family, even though it's a really sweet gesture and everything, they look scared or uncomfortable to be there. And I don't think that will change until May. So I think Albania will not qualify. Next, Belgium. Now that I see it, I think it should be lower than Albania, actually. Every time this comes up in the playlist, I kind of skip it because it sounds very dated. The production on the whole track is not very good. I do like the feel of it and the message it tries to send, but the video, the style he has in the video is like very, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like very 90s, very old-fashioned. I don't know. He was really surprised to win the Belgium final, and I kind of am too. I don't think this makes it. So, yeah, maybe lower the Belgian flag a little bit in this graphic in your heads, in your minds. Okay, that leaves, I think, one country, and that's another borderliner, and that is Australia. Now, I said I'm trying to be as objective as possible. I do not like this song, and that may have influenced this a little bit. However, the main reason I have Australia on the borderline, really like the Netherlands and semi-1, is its track record with the televote. There's just so many instances where Australia did really well with the juries and qualified for that reason, and then really crashed completely with the televote. And this is only a televote semi. I think they are kind of fighting this whole idea, why is Australia in this? Why is a country that's not even in Europe qualifying over a country that is in Europe? People are a bit skeptical about that. The juries are not as much, I feel like. So that's why I think it might be difficult for Australia to qualify. But it could qualify because it's a attention-grabbing rock song, so why not? But then we need something else that isn't, so maybe Iceland doesn't make it, maybe Greece doesn't make it. I guess most of you would say Denmark won't make it. Yeah, quite difficult, honestly, to predict this. I thought it would be easier than Semi 1 because Semi 1 is kind of the bloodbath, but at least there are some songs, or a lot of songs, where you think clearly this is qualifying, like Sweden, Finland. And here you have quite a few where you're not quite sure. At least I am not. That's why I'm asking you to tell me in the comments who you think will qualify from semifinal 2. Am I completely wrong about this? But please explain why. Just telling me you're wrong, Denmark will not qualify. Tell me why you think that. All right. Yeah, that's my prediction for semifinal 2. As I said before, I will be doing updates on Semi 1 and Semi 2 predictions, as well as my Eurovision predictions overall. I also have lyric explanation videos on Eurovision history, so please subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss all of that. And then I will see you for my next video. Bye-bye.